Hello, it's Greg Berzinsky for Beardbrand Alliance. It's been a very somber time as we mourn the death of the United Kingdom's longest-running monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. With her passing, we thought it was only appropriate that we honor her by looking at all of the fine beards in the Windsor family. Yes, we're going to go back to Queen Victoria, moving forward to the present-day royals, and look at what they have accomplished when it comes to the follicles on their face. I think the Queen would be proud. This is for you. Yes, royal beards. This century has seen quite a lot of them, and magnificent many of them. Some would even say royal. Queen Victoria was married to Prince Albert, who was always rocking a fine mustache. They had 9 children. There were 4 boys. And Queen Victoria's heir was King Edward VII, and he had quite the impressive follicles on his face. He would get married and have 7 children of his own, which would give us his heir, George V. George V rocked a fantastic beard, just like his father. Very fashionable at the time, and we were talking about from about 1910 to about 1920, fantastic beard, and often wearing a handlebar mustache. A lot of people see pictures of his cousin, Tsar Nicholas, and here's a picture of them together. They look more like brothers than cousins. The gene pool is very strong, or some might say the gene pool is very narrow, but these guys look an awful lot alike. And if you notice in this particular picture, they are wearing each other's hats to throw people off. They were well aware of the fact that they looked alike. Beards would be worn with gusto throughout the teens and into the 20s. King George would have several children, the most famous being King Edward, who would abdicate the throne and throw it over to his brother. That would be George VI. And King George VI, you'll notice, does not have a beard. So from the 30s, moving forward, a lot of royals would not have beards. And a lot of that happened with World War I. A lot of men just stopped growing beards in 1920. And you see throughout the 20s and the 30s, you might see a little bit of mustache, but for the most part, men would not rock a beard with the gusto that their predecessors had done in the late 1800s and into the early 1900s. Where does that leave us now? We look at our current royals, and there's a lot of them here, and not a lot of beards. But what I wanted to talk about is the fact that all of these men can grow fantastic beards, and they have on occasion. You do not see this a lot with American dynasty families, say like the Kennedys, with American politicians. You just don't see guys cutting loose and growing beards. So why are these men growing beards where our American counterparts are not? A lot of this has to do with the fact that in military service, especially in the Navy, it is acceptable to grow facial hair. So you have Prince Philip in the 40s and the 50s. He is the husband of Queen Elizabeth II, and mostly shaved for a lot of his life. But when he was in military service, he grew this beard that rivals, the ghost of Mrs. Muir. Fantastic beard. He would have 4 children, and the oldest, Prince Charles, we often associate with being smooth-faced, and we see that even today as he is King Charles III, and fairly tightly shaved. But he has a history over the past, and you can see that in these pictures, and mostly because of military service, growing a beard. Dense beards with coverage up to here, thickness, and just amazing coverage. And I actually am going to go out on a limb here and say that these guys look pretty fantastic with a beard. I think you'd have to agree. And I wondered, what the general population thought about seeing these men in such a high position of royalty rocking beards. I think it was par for the course, because you would be associated with other men in the military, and a lot of those guys would go off to sea and grow a fantastic beard while they were deployed. So Prince Charles, of course, has 2 sons, and those 2 sons, which you know, are Prince William and Prince Harry. And both of these guys grow a beard. Prince William can grow a pretty good beard, just like his father, which you can see here. And Prince Harry, not as thick and not dense, but Prince Harry actually chooses to wear a beard far more often than his brother does. And for the most part, when I think of Prince Harry now as an adult in his late 30s, I think of him as a bearded man. You have these royals who are actually throwing the convention that had been set in place in the 1920s and choosing to wear beards in public for an extended period of time, not related to military service. Other famous royals that we have too would be Michael of Kent. Michael of Kent is the first cousin of Queen Elizabeth. Michael of Kent has a fantastic beard. I also think he is probably one of the best dressed of all the royals. He always turned it out, and this guy has had a consistent beard since the 70s. He has not shaved and has worn a beard since it was dark until it is white now, and the man is in his mid-80s, still rocking a beard, often with a handlebar. So with the royals, it seems in military service completely acceptable to grow that beard, and it seems also acceptable to wear a beard, where in America, on this level, on this stage, you don't see many guys doing that. In Hollywood, yes, you see a Sean Connery wearing a beard, but for the most part, you're never going to see someone like a retired president growing a beard. But here are the royals, in the case of Michael of Kent, growing a beard and keeping it for the extended period of time of 40 or 50 years. That's just a quick survey of some of the royals and what they're growing on their face. It's exciting to see that in other dynasties in the world, over in Europe, a lot of the princes and kings of other lands are also able to grow a beard. I'm just thankful that we are at a position and a point in life where it is okay to grow a beard and to be a professional. I think we've made great headways as we move into the 2020s. I think there's hope that everyone will get over the fact that the beards say something, and in reality, they actually just say that you're a man of royal style. Until we meet again.
The other thing you should know about Beardbrand is that it's not just about the videos and the information and the grooming and the products. It's also about you, the individual, the inside as well. My name is Bud. I'm a veterinarian. I'm a four vices kind of guy. And if you're going to grow it, you better own it.